Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to week 11 of my Jeff Bishop Bullseye Trades review. So I'll leave a link in the description, so if you're not familiar with the service or you want to see some of the previous videos and trades that has been done in the service, you can go and check it out. I'll leave this URL in the description below. Very brief overview, like normal. Jeff Bishop's one of the founders of RagingBull.com, and he has this service called Bullseye Trades, which is $95 a year. It's one options trade every Monday morning, so you know when it's going to come out, you know roughly what you're going to get, and you take that trade for the entire week, or until at least it hits the profit or stop loss. So I've written this article. I'm trying to put every single winning and losing trade in here, so you guys can see what you're going to get before you buy it. For you guys that are already in the service, I know there's a lot of you because I talked to you in the Facebook group quite a bit. By the way, I'll also leave a link to the Facebook group in the description below, so if you're not in that, you can come and join in some of these discussions about these trades as other members and myself take them. So if you are in that group already though, and you've not seen all these reviews yet, each video is 1 week, so this would be week 9. I actually forgot to put ARC, which was last week's, into the video in here. I'll do that once I finish recording this video, so it'll be there when you guys actually see this. And then I'm going to put in this week's review of NVDA, which was this week's Bullseye Trades review. This is what you get. So for you guys that are in the service already, you'll have read all this. But for people that don't know what to expect, this is the sort of email that you get every Monday morning, round about market open or close to market open. You get an email with this particular trade idea. So this was the 25th of July. So at the start of this week, it's now Saturday, so this trade is kind of over. Technically it's not completely over, but I'll get to that as I go through my discussion on this week's Bullseye trades. So here's what you expect. So he starts off talking about some just brief overview. So last week he talked about ARC. Like I said, I did a video on that. It went 100% profits, which was awesome. Then this week he mentioned that he's scouring the markets, or souring on the markets. So he was basically thinking the markets were going to kind of go down, which turned out to be pretty wrong, unexpectedly so though, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So he thought, on Monday that this recent rally is running off and it's looking like it's losing steam. And honestly, I've not really seen him take puts very often. He doesn't normally go short on stocks. But this week, of all weeks, he decided to go short on NVDA, Pelosi's favorite stock. So let's go down here. So when you get these little due diligence things, they usually include like a very vague chart. If you're in the service, the real meat is in the 11 a.m. Eastern time live stream that he does. So if you've not tried that out yet, make sure you sign in and listen to that every 11 o'clock on Monday morning. He talks through a lot more details about the trade and the market in general. So that's definitely a little trick to do if you're already in the service, is to make sure you listen to that 11 a.m. Eastern broadcast that he does on the Bullseye trades. Because you don't get a lot from just looking at this one chart. He pulls them all up and starts going through all his basic indicators and stuff that he's using on the live streams. So you get the bare bones due diligence in this sort of blurb. So here he's saying that NVDA had already dropped 50% from its highs, but he thought that retest the lows was coming soon. So the idea seemed to be, one, the market was cooling, and two, it already started to drop, and it was kind of a sell the news thing. So if you know about NVDA and what they do, you'll understand why the CHIPS Act that was being voted on in Congress this week is kind of important to it. And he thought, like, when it got approved, that this stock would actually drop because it had been, anticipated or priced in. Also, he thought a lot of the people that were jumping on the Pelosi bandwagon would also sell the news as well. So he expected this thing to drop, and at the very start of the week, it looked like he was probably going to be right. And I'll show you that in a minute. I'm just looking through here. And so he gives like his stop loss. So really this is the thing you look for. NVDA August 5th puts at 170. Don't pay more than about $5.50 for them. If the stock goes up to 182, it's probably a good idea to get out, and the target would be 162 for profits. Remember, when you're buying puts, you're betting the stock will drop in price. So let's have a look and see what happens. So pull up my brokerage. Here's NVDA on the 5-day 5 minutes. So this was Monday right here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you're not familiar with this, think or swim. These lighter grey areas are after hours. These are market hours. So you can see right here at the start of the open on the left here, NVDA immediately did seem like it was going the right way. So, you know, it was going down, the price of the puts were going up, everything was good. Except for the fact that we couldn't actually get in at the 550, it was still much too high. It was actually around $8 at one point for the entry into the August 5th 170 puts, and I'll show you that in a minute. Just want to give you kind of an overview of what NVDA did price-wise, and then we'll look at the options. So yeah, it went down, and then it just rallied for the rest of the week. So really didn't do what Jeff was hoping, but I don't think any of us really expected this rally this week, at least I didn't. And I'll kind of explain why. So you can see the NVDA followed SPY, so this is the chart of SPY. It did almost exactly the same, very close. So the nonsense seemed to start on Wednesday, so this day is Wednesday, and that was the FOMC day. And instead of tanking on the FOMC days, like often happens, this thing just rallied all the way up, unexpected, just straight up. That was probably the start of the end for NVDA and for people that were short the market. Thursday we had a follow through, and then Friday when it was confirmed that we were definitely in a recession, that was actually very positive news apparently to the market, and it rallied even more. So the numbers actually fell in short here, and by any definition we're really in a recession. So it was very interesting to see this sparked a further market rally. So I'm not really saying that, you know, too much of this was like Jeff's fault. I mean, I feel like the problem started here when the market had this irrational reaction to the FOMC stuff being released, which was really weird. And then again when we decided, oh, we're in a recession, okay, well let's rally then. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm not really thinking that Jeff did anything wrong here. I feel like this is just what happens, particularly in a bear market, when you have some of the worst rip your face off rallies, even though like the news is actually not that great or even pretty bad. So this is what we're kind of looking at. So we didn't get a market sell-off, we got a market rally instead, which of course totally messed up the NVDA trade to the downside. So let's have a look at the actual options. So what we traded was the August 5th options, the 170 puts, so these guys. Oops. It's going to plot them, so I'm going to plot the price of the puts, here they are, on the chart. So you can, this is no longer the stock price, this is the price of the puts. So you can see part of the problem here was, look at the price here on the Monday, so it gets a little more difficult to see. This is Monday to here, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. So you can see what happened here is the price of the puts just fell all week. They didn't go up like we were hoping, they just fell. And actually, a little trick that you guys that are already in the service might know, but if you don't, then a good thing to do with these bullseye trades is to actually wait for a day or two. So don't chase the price. So in this case, the price was $7.50 roughly at the open, and it really didn't fall until Wednesday. So it really like started to fall here, and I actually took a position somewhere, let's see, I got 298, so I think it was about here. So I took a position when the option was 298 on Wednesday, and I had the opportunity to escape for a 25% gain pretty quickly the next morning, but I held it and ended up selling for a small loss down here somewhere. So it was a little frustrating, but one thing that definitely is a takeaway from this is don't buy straight away, because the people that chased this and thought, oh, it's already at 7 or 8, okay, it's really going to go here, would have been pretty devastated by this pulling all the way back down to here. So it closed at like $1. So if you'd got in and chased it at say $7, you'd be pretty mad. So definitely if you did get burned by this, make sure you don't chase the price. It often comes down to you later in the week. and then rallies back up. In this case it kept going down, but at least the losses were kept to a minimal. So definitely don't chase. The 550 that Jeff puts in his thing, where is it here? It's like you shouldn't pay more than that. I mean, if maybe you buy a tiny position if you're chasing and then average down. I know somebody who does that pretty well, buys like a half position. In this case, a half position would have still been pretty bad though, because of the big drop. I mean, look at this thing, it dropped overnight from $9 to $4. So definitely a really tough week on Bullseye trades this week, and it's actually probably one of the few losing trades I've been able to document. So you can see like the week before was 100% winner, AMC 100% winner. The week before, you can see all these. It was Meta, so that was in June. So far in July we've not had a losing trade. The last losing trade was in June. So it's the end of July. So it seems to be like once every month we'll get a losing trade. You can see the next losing trade was actually pretty far back, like March. So we've had a couple of losing trades recently, relatively more than has been normal for this service in my experience. So hopefully the next one will be a winner though. You can see why people might get a bit grumpy, right? If they chased that guy up here and then stopped it down here, they'd be like, oh, this service is terrible. But if you just waited and got in somewhere where I did, or a little bit later, you're still taking a loss, but not nearly as bad of a loss. And then not giving up is the key, right? Because you know, the week before 100%, the week before that 130%, 100%. So you've got to have the confidence that would be just a one-off trade and play these well as well. It's not really just as simple as follow an alert. You've got to kind of time your entries and exits as best you can as well. Anyway, I hope that helps. I've got a few more videos to do tonight. I think I'm going to do one about one of the other Raging Bull services called Lotto X, so I'm probably going to do that tonight as well. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys soon.